Very good French press. It is, what is this, Wednesday the 30th. November's coming around. Haven't done a vinyl video in a while. I have stuff I've accumulated at different places, different times, and I wanted to show it off. Just so you know, noticing why it looks a little different, this is the apartment that Mary's been living in, and I'm going to be joining her and living in after our wedding on January 26th. So things have been quite busy because of that stuff in hand as well. But let's get right into it. What you're hearing, I'm not sure if you can hear it all. The opening track's a little bit lower. You might be able to hear a little better after this one, but it's really, really great record. It's the newest from Julia Holter, who you guys know I love very much. This is her newest album from this past year, 2013, called Loud City Song. Came out on Domino Records. At the store I went to when I wanted to get it, they just had the CD and I really wanted to hear it, so I went ahead and grabbed that. I have her one before this on the vinyl and this one on CD. It's a lot more. You can tell that there. It's so funny. Someone has put a menu inside the door, and it really scared me. They like placed a menu sticking through my door as we were doing this video. So, great record. There's a lot more composition going on this album, and it's really, really good. It takes some time to grow on, but now it's like it's in there. So let's get into it. Some great stuff here. Probably have maybe a little bit more than 10. Let's see. This is the Besnard Lakes, and their album, The Besnard Lakes Are Dark Horse, from 2007 on Jaguar, the same label that has Bon Iver, Justin Vernon's work. I saw this Jaguar. I decided to take a chance. This is an amazing, amazing record. It's really great. I'm not going to speak like I know too much about the group I'm about to mention, but in terms of Beach Boys, a lot of people compare and say that they have a lot of sound of Beach Boys, and I totally hear it. There's a lot of harmonies, a lot of booing and ahs in the background, and then it goes from that. It's like really, really hard rock, and it's just banging. I recommend checking out the song "And You Lied to Me" to hear something like that. But yeah, this is a great album. I'd highly recommend if anyone wants to check out something new. The Besnard Lakes. This is their album from 2007. This is a really, really cool thing I found. I spent some time in the record store going through all the miscellaneous records. This is a woman named Chris Gannon, and it's an album called Strong Again. As you can see, I picked it up for $8. One day I'm going to go through. I think when I move all my records to the new apartment, I'm going to take all these stickers off. This is from 1979. It's a private press album, and man, it's really freaking good. I can only imagine there's only been a couple of these pressed. Period. Has a really good record sheet. I mean, there's a slip in here with the lyrics. Now, you say the lyrics are very, the songs are like folky, and some of them have a country tinge, but more folky. But they're very, not dark, but sometimes they're sad. The first song is called Sweet Sadness, saying, "Oh, sweet sadness, you've come to me again. Well, I've grown to believe that you and I are going to be lifelong friends." And you wrap your heavy arms around me and whisper, "Babe, I've got you tight." Funeral Dirge is a really, really dark song. A song called Maddie that is pretty much talking about Maddie won't be drinking no more like so many others do. When life becomes a chore, good intentions didn't save her. But Maddie won't be drinking anymore, and tells a story. And through that story, it's like because she's not going to drink anymore because they found her dead. I mean, it's dark, and but I get the feeling, you get the general overall feeling from this woman and her lyrics that she was really settling into this whole idea of being alone and not really deciding that maybe she feels a little bit more better in solitude rather than being with a significant other. It's a great album. And the label on the private press, on the one side you see that there, the record label is called Kubler Records, and I think she just made that for this album because it says the album is dedicated to the memory of her late parents, Kenneth Kubler and Patricia Gannon Kubler. So basically, it seems like she named the label after her parents. Really, really great stuff. Might be hard to come across, but I recommend looking this up if you're looking for female singer-songwriters. Really great stuff. Check it out on Discogs so you can find it. Chris Gannon, K-R-I-S, like Dixieland Farms Chris. This is Thomas Dolby, music that was composed by Thomas Dolby for the music for the film called Gothic. I've never seen the film called Gothic, but it seems like it's sort of like a B type of style horror type of movie. I was really interested in hearing it because I really have grown to like Thomas Dolby from the amazing production on the Prefab Sprout albums. If I'm saying that right, Prefab Sprout and Prefab Sprout with Patty McClune. He did 3 of their albums. I have 2 of them, and his production's fantastic. So I really want to get more familiar with him. So this is cool stuff. Some of the songs are a little bit more, you know, swoopy and stringy than I need, but there's some other ones that are really cool, and you can tell he was having fun just doing that. This is Barry McGuire, Lighten Up, on Myrrh Records. This is an album Mark Ditch can attest to this. It's a really, really great album from a Christian gentleman named Barry McGuire on the Christian label Myrrh. It's in the 70s. I can't find the actual date, but I know it's the 70s. And Myrrh is part of Word Records, and it's really like, it's just one of those gems you can find in the Christian music from that time period. It's really, he was big for a single called Eve of Destruction, and then he added, the first side starts with a smaller version of Eve of Destruction, and then he adds on some other songs called Don't Blame God on that original track. But basically, I mean, it's very bluesy. It's like a blues rock Christian album. It has some great stuff, and then all of a sudden he'll drop into a ballad, and then back into blues rock. Definitely a keeper in terms of looking for a Christian album that really, really does have amazing music to it. It's original. This is a group called The Lucy Show. I knew some more about it in the past. I'm kind of drawing a blank now, but I was looking into them more when I was listening to it. The album is called Mania. I think it's their second album. This one was repressed recently. I think on CD, possibly on vinyl. But it's from 1986 on a record label called Big Time Records. And it's really great stuff. You know, if you like delay on guitars and, you know, reverb on the vocals and a really good college radio sound. I think they opened up for a big band, actually. I can't remember the time. They could have worked with, you know, I think they had like an early REM type of sound, but I think that's based on what I've heard because I don't listen to too much REM. But I really enjoy this album. I definitely check out songs like Sad September, Sojourn's End, A Million Things. Great songs. So, The Lucy Show. It's 2 guys. It's their project. This is, I got this at another record in the bunch here when I went to School Kids Records in Raleigh when me and Mary had a really great trip this past week to see the Foreign Exchange, which was incredible. And this is now by George Duke called The Aura Will Prevail. I only skimmed through it because I needed to listen to it more seriously, but I got this because I had a more recent album in like either the 90s or the 2000s by George Duke. First time I ever heard him on CD, and I absolutely loved it. So I really wanted to hear more George Duke, and this is from a later, this is like an earlier piece of his from 1975. And yeah, I really like what George Duke does. I really like his style, so I decided to pick this up. It's only $7. It's great. It's in perfect shape actually too, and it's on NPS Records, NPS Stereo. I got this for I think only $1 or $2. I think it was only $1 actually in the dollar bin at the record show that I went to in Charlotte when I did that video. When we went to Charlotte in the record show with me, Chris, Memphis Vinyl, Jim and the Misses, and Blake along with Mary. This is Lindsey Buckingham, Go Insane. I don't know too much in terms of how many solo albums he has, but this is on Elektra. What year was this released? This was definitely in the 80s. I can tell by the sound. 84. I'm telling you, man, this is such a cool record. I mean, most people know how great of a musician Lindsey Buckingham is, but this really shows how he kind of was trying to do things on Tusk, where like these songs are very pop oriented with an 80s type of sound, but there's some really weird experimentation going on as well. I highly recommend checking out this album, especially if you're a Fleetwood Mac fan. There's no way you won't appreciate this, so I would check it out. Lindsey Buckingham, Go Insane. That was a great steal in my opinion for only $1. This is the other one I got from the record store in Raleigh, School Kids Records. Esther Phillips from A Whisper to a Scream. I got into this album and knew about this album back in college. I think it was from when I was getting more into soul music for the first time. Hip-hop had led me into digging into soul music from the 70s, and I came across this one, and I really, really enjoyed it. There's a rendition on here of Home Is Where the Hatred Is from Gil Scott-Heron, and it's really, really great. Save the little receipt there from School Kids Records. This was originally for $6, but then I went there and I told him that there were some scratches on it, and there were some noticeable scratches, but I told him I'd take it for like $2. This is on Kudu Records, and he was very cool and like, oh yeah, totally, I'll give you $2. And I played it, and it actually sounds great. So the scratches were just on the surface. They weren't really, however you say it, not the surface layer, but they weren't deep. So yeah, I definitely recommend checking out Esther Phillips. It's a great, great soul album. I think it's her third. It's a little bit different from the first couple. I know I gotta speed up with my time here. This is the original Mirrors. I can't say too much. I want to listen to it once, but I was really, really turned on by the cover here. This is a promotional copy. This is on Arista from 1980. I thought it was really cool. And I can tell you one thing. It does have the biography in here. Periodical went on to say that the Mirrors take a stunning fusion of new wave, R&B, and disco and push it to their own mold. I think they had like an EP, and then they put on like took those original 5 songs and added more to them. But it was really cool. I'd recommend checking out. They had a single. Crap. Could This Be Heaven, possibly? Or maybe, I think it was Could This Be Heaven, actually. Yeah, I remember thinking it was really nice. It was good. I need to look more into it. Listen to it more. This is Cat People, music by Giorgio Moroder, original soundtrack. I haven't actually listened to this at all yet, but it's kind of cool. I kind of like it when I can find horror soundtracks, like I found the Thomas Dolby one. Plus, I know from the guys, Giorgio, that he's probably a guy from Italy, and I know that Italian musicians are really good with their horror music themes. It's an erotic fantasy about the animal in all of us. I don't know this movie, Cat People, but I know the original one from Van Luten. But it does have, I know that it has a song on here that's the original song, I think by David Bowie. That's called Cat People Putting Out Fire. So I thought it was pretty cool. I found it's only 50 cents at a Goodwill, and it's in perfect shape on Backstreet Records. Let's see what we got to show next. Oh, this is awesome. I got a copy. It's only $8. I got a great copy with no noise or anything. Marvin Gaye's "I Want You," which is really has to be like a lot of people's favorite covers. One of their favorite album covers of all time. I really like this record. I really like collecting any Marvin Gaye, and this is one I haven't had yet. But I still would say that Hear My Dear has become my favorite. I just really, really love what Hear My Dear is all about. But I Want You is a great, great album. This is really cool. This is the Motels, all for one. I've been wanting to get a copy of this, and I found this also at the record show for I think only $1 or $2. I was excited to get that. I have another one of their albums that's later called, I think, Little Robbers, if I remember correctly, and that was really great. I had that on cassette. And I think it was Punk Texas, if I remember correctly, did a really, really cool video showing the comparison between this album and the one they released only a couple years ago that was kind of like the original album that was darker sounding, and how they changed this, how they made it to this album and sort of added more of a poppier sound that sounded a little bit more upbeat. And I thought that was a really, really cool thing. So I really like what the Motels are all about. So Martha Davis is definitely a cool gal. So glad to have this. And last but not least, really excited about this. After the Foreign Exchange show, me and Mary, Foreign Exchange is one of my favorite groups, pretty much. It's Fonte from Little Brother, a really great rapper, and now more of a singer. Nicolay is an amazing producer from the Netherlands. They started making albums in 2005, and it became their major project. So I want to pick up an album of theirs on vinyl. I had 3 CDs I brought with me to the show. We met them after the show, a few different members of the group, including Nicolay, which was super exciting. Got them to sign my stuff. And I decided to buy this vinyl here because it was an album I didn't own yet. That's a great, great album of theirs. Authenticity, this is their album from 2010. They just released their 4th one just a month ago or so, called Love in Flying Colors. I actually got the set list also, which is really great. First time I ever had a set list, but I'm like, this band really brings the fanboy out of me. So, and they had them pre-signed inside, but I wanted to have them sign on the front as well. And I like having them write to Tim and Mary on it. best. I mean, I can't recommend this band enough. This is one of my all-time favorite groups, the Foreign Exchange. You just can't go wrong. This is actually the group that I would tell people kind of, when people ask if people ask me what one band or one group actually is the one that defines me and I would say sums me up the most and what I like about music, it's always going to be the Foreign Exchange. So, if that means anything to you, you guys should check them out. But yeah, that's my update. I hope you guys are having a great day and a great week and a great month and hopefully a great year that's ending soon.